Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page. It's Tuesday, the 14th of January, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, Windies T20 squad announced to face Ireland, and in our feature for this evening, Nevis Cricket Association President Denrick Liburd in focus. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back.
Here are your Horsley's Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag specials from January 3rd to 16th. Pork rib chop, $5.99 per pound. Russet potatoes, 5-pound bag, just $9.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, 10 count, $6.99. IGA cream cheese, 8 ounces, $4.99. Gripper fish is just $11.99 per pound. Essential Everyday Puddings and Gelatin Box, $2.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressings, variety of flavors, $9.99 each. Essential Everyday Cranberry Drinks, $9.99. Speed Stick Deodorant, 3 ounces, is just $9.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras a Value Mart.
Well, I'm back and we start with cricket. The selection panel of Cricket West Indies yesterday named Romario Shepherd as the 14th player in the squad for the three-match T20 International Series against Ireland. The matches will be played at Grenada tomorrow, Wednesday, January 15th, and at Warner Park, St. Kitts on Saturday, January 18th, and Sunday, January 19th. The tall, strong-built, fast bowling all-rounder has earned his first call-up in this format. He has so far played 5 one-day internationals since making his international debut last year against Afghanistan in India. The full squad reads: Kyron Pollard, captain. Dwayne Bravo is back. Sheldon Cottrell, Shimron Hetmeyer, Brandon King, Evan Lewis, Kerry Peer, Nicholas Puran, Rovman Powell, Shavane Rutherford, Romario Shepherd, Lendell Simmons, Hayden Walsh Jr., Kesrick Williams. In terms of the match schedule, just to remind you, tomorrow Wednesday in Grenada, it's the first T20. Then the action moves to St. Kitts Saturday, January the 18th, and Sunday, January the 19th. Both of those matches in St. Kitts starts at 6 p.m. So nice time to go over and take a look. We'll take this break and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free healthcare at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Well, I'm back, and tonight cricket is in the spotlight. Just yesterday, we caught up with the Nevis Cricket Association President Denrick Liburd, and tonight we bring you a part of that interview. I'm privileged to be seated alongside Denrick Liburd, the President of the Nevis Cricket Association. Denrick, in honesty, I haven't seen you since last year, so Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Curtis. I love where Curtis said that, because that was just, 12 days ago?
Now, let's talk a little bit about some updates because we didn't get some updates. Talk to us about the under-15 team that went away, I think, to Antigua. Give us a little update on that.
Okay, well, Curtis, last year we had the under-15 in December, traveling to Antigua. They only managed to play one game, and that game was against a combined team of Montserrat and St. Martin. That game we lost, and however, but there were some notable performances from, as was reported to me by the manager, Fraser. He said the captain, he thought, was very good looking, one to look good for the future. Someone named Delroy, and of course Jevon Manners in that game. Those were the 3 cricketers, he said to him, that looked the part.
I think the captain was Jose Pluck.
Jose Pluck is the captain, yes. And so it all bodes well. When they left Nevis, we recognized that they were not as, I don't want to use it so as not to discriminate, but a lot of work was still needed to be done on them. They were younger. As a matter of fact, they were like 13 years None of them was up in that 15-year bracket. So they were way below the 15-year mark. And so we felt that they were not as experienced. But however, we had to give them the opportunity for them to learn and to grow in the game.
And then the under 17 team went away, and I must say I was a little disappointed that a winning team coming back to Nevis. I wasn't even told so that we could, make it a big thing for the Nevisian public. Give us an update on their performances.
Yes, that for sure. For me too, I was disappointed in that because when they left, I actually went to the airport and saw them off. They went into batches, and I made sure I was there to give them a little pep talk and make sure that they went. However, when Leat was having issues with flights into St. Kitts, and so there were never any clear indication as to when they'll come back to Nevis. And it so happened that I was home in the morning, and Frank called me and said, Prezi, boy, we landed in St. Kitts, This morning they came by the thing, just put cost up, said, listen, time to go. Let us put on a flight, let's go. And so we really didn't have any time. So when he told me I was in St. Kitts, I just had to arrange the water taxi to bring them over, and that was it. So he really had knocked me for sure. Now, as to the under 17, the performances, Curtis, I am very, very, very happy with where the under 17 is. And I want to say, just so that I'm going to come back to them. Under 17, under 19, we have a pretty nice group of cricketers who I'm very, very happy about. The under 17 won all of their matches in Antigua. They beat everybody. Notable performances came from young Acadian to Willett. Tijari Clark also made some runs. We know that Carlin Bowen Tuckett, he was the captain, and he was fantastic as well. We also had young Amadan, the opening batsman. He also made Justin, he also made a half century. Our bowling stock looked well according to reports coming in from Frank, and the coach was Tonito Willett, and they had nothing but praise for the team. The guys gelled well, according to our reports, and they really, really stuck to the task. And it was no wonder that we did, like I said, we won all the matches. I was not surprised, to be quite frank.
Based on that report, it looks as if our cricket is looking really good for the future.
Yeah, yes, I like what I call the bench strength, because the key to any strong team is your bench strength. What is leading into your guys? As your guys age, some will have to leave the scene. Of course, earlier in the year, we had the senior men's tournament, and we didn't do too badly because we made semi-finals. Again, that tournament was hampered by a lot of bad weather, and a number of matches we didn't get to play. But the matches, because I was lucky to witness 2 matches in Antigua, and those matches, they won them. And so what I saw, I believe that our cricketers are understanding what is required of them a lot better. I think the attitude, there has been a change. I've seen a change in attitude. We have stressed fitness a lot more. As a matter of fact, as we get into the interview, Curtis, I'm going to share some plans which we have regarding ensuring that our cricketers have cricket to play, but also fitness plays a major role in our teams.
As you mentioned, fitness, discipline. You remember the what's his name? The Libert report.
Yeah.
When I asked you, you said you wasn't aware of any such. Have you picked up anything since? Because somehow I knew he wasn't making up stories. So there must have been something. As they say, there must have been where there's smoke, there's fire. So there must have been something. So any development?
Well, Curtis, to be quite honest, I would have heard of situations before. But like I said, regarding this team that went to Antigua, I was there. Like I said, I stayed with them, and I don't know. Sometimes people say, "Where the cat is around, where the cat, the mouse, play." But I saw them on the field. I don't know if there was any, because I spoke to Frank, the manager. I also spoke to Nutsi, and neither of them reported anything. So if anything happened while he was there, it had to have been something that was minor. And so, like I said, I saw first on how the guys were drilling. As you can see, they performed, and so out of that, we had three of them who are now on the Leeward Islands Hurricanes franchise. So, I didn't see anything. But one thing I can tell you, Curtis, is that every team that leaves Nevis, I personally have a chat with them. And one of the things we have always stressed at the NCA is that discipline has to be of paramount importance to us. If you're not disciplined, you will stay home. And this coach and the manager was given strict instructions that anyone running afoul of those things, please put them on the plane. Let me know when they come in to Nevis, and we'll send a replacement.
And as far as you know, none was sent home.
None was sent home.
All right, fair enough. So let's move on in terms of plans, because I think this is the year for the AGM, and you must have some other plans. Could you kind of update the general public?
Yes, actually, Curtis, we met last week to put plans together because, of course, if you're going to go into an AGM, people want to know what are your plans. And so I am not going to go to an AGM, I don't have any plans. And so we met, and we're hoping to have the AGM later this month. We're hoping. We are toying around with around the 28th because you have to give a certain notice period, right? So whenever we give that notice, it'll be 14, I think it's 14 days clear notice you have to have. And so that will happen. Now, one of the things that you would realize last year we trialed that franchise. And it is the way a lot of the islands around are going in terms of getting the players and them into cricket. Out of that franchise setup that we did last year, we have what you call an elite team. That's the Nevis cricket team, as is presently. And so one of the plans for that cricket team is that as soon as we begin our tournaments this year that we have planned, that cricket team will also be involved in specific training at least twice per week. What we are saying is that you have to be at a certain level of fitness and a certain standard when we come to the part of picking the island team. The West Indies Cricket Board, on which I sit, has certain fitness standards. And so those standards are coming right across the region. And what we are saying is that, listen, you cannot go into a Leeward Island Hurricanes team with a fitness level that is below par. So the onus is also on us here locally to get our players up to that level of fitness so that when they get here, it's nothing new to them. I can tell you somewhat so that, Curtis, that we funded by the NCA, there were 8 cricketers that were assigned to the Hurricanes during their practice and training period for the 1 days and for the 4-day tournament that is coming up. And of course, they were there because we gave them the opportunity so they could be in the setup. They can understand the training regimen. And so that when they are here, that they can also be a part of understanding that when we call on them, that they could pass on that knowledge to those also, that this is how you have to train. They'll be leaders. And so that is going to happen. That is going to continue. But like I said, the difference this is that the island team, not saying that other persons will train as well. Because remember, during the tournament, there will be other people that come through. And sure, they will get in the setup as well. But at least the core team that we sent, that team will be training on a regular basis, weekly, and we have our matches on the weekends for the tournaments that we have planned. Now, as to the tournaments, Curtis, we're going to be doing the same, the 40-over tournament that we had last year, sponsored by Nagico. So that is going to kick off again. We also have a T20 tournament that is going to be sponsored by my bank, the Bank of Nevis. I think the move is that we're going to kick off the calendar year 2020 with that 2020 to, get the excitement, get everybody build up. And so that will be between, the franchise team. We're going to have T20 for guys like you in the second division who still, want to do your thing. So that cricket will be targeted for you guys so that you can pass on to the younger fellas who are not in any particular setup. So that will be something like that will be the second division, Okay. So 2020 is what we'll offer for you, and the first division will be more or less centered around the franchise setup, the 40 over. They will have a T20 tournament as well, as you hear me say, and also we also want to do 2-day cricket. It has been something on my mind. And I am in the final stages with a sponsor. Once that happens, we're going to have, because like I said to you, Curtis, we already have the T20 sponsored. We have the 40 over sponsored. And so I'm looking for a sponsor for you, for the 2-day, and also for your second division too, because I want to be able to, I like to give away a little something. And people must be enticed. and man must also be compensated. And so, wherever possible, once the sponsorship falls in place, our thing at the New School Association is to, you know, you give people some kind of little incentive. A guy make the most one, you give him a check. Best most wickets like that. So he knows that I'm performing. It's all about building and lifting the performances.
You know that some of those plans didn't materialize last year. So how can we be so sure now that these will materialize this year?
Well, what I can tell you is that last year there were certain issues that prevented the league from starting on time. This year we don't have that because one of the things is that the sponsors were already locked in for a 2-year period. So I don't have to worry about that. So basically we were just giving this January month, a lot of football is being played and so on. So we were just giving them the little space. And we hope, and so our mind is set on February to really get our cricket rolling and the AGM and all that, get that out of the way in January and February. So the cricket will be starting earlier. Also, another thing that has impacted is that if you realize a number of the tournaments for the Leeward Islands are held now later down in the year. So they are not to be the conflict that we had now with some of them. We have to then, okay, boy, a tournament is coming up. So there's also more planning going on at the Leeward Island level so that we do not have these issues to clear the way. We put the calendar properly. That's what we are saying. So that we're jumbling up and we know. So basically in the first part of this year, I believe the only tournament we'll have to be going about is the under 19. That normally is held like in May, somewhere down there, because the men tournament is now put closer to the draft, to the Leeward Island tournament that starts. Yeah, that's how we do it. They put it closer down there so that guys are still fit, and then they can just, you can just move over directly into the hurricane setup and whatever. So we have that knuckled down now. And then, because of school with the younger children, it is felt that it's better to keep these tournaments the vacation. So, like I said, the window is freed up better, so we can plan better. And like I tell you, we're ready to kick off. We're getting ready to put in our plans in place once the AGM is completed and we are returned, and we run straight into the thing.
What about venues?
One brilliant question, because Curtis, we only could have played one place last year. We all know that we've heard about some peace accord between, certain elements, and it is a good thing. And I'll tell you why it's a good thing, Curtis, because for 2 years in a row, we struggled with scheduling matches over at VOJN and Cotton Ground outside of the park. Our cricketers came to us and said they're not going. And of course, we can't play cricket without them. So the association was faced with an issue where, hey, guys saying, me not play no cricket over them place there because they're not safe. Of course, I don't have to rehash it. I mean, Curtis, we know the unfortunate incidents that happened at Cotton Ground and elsewhere. However, what we have sat recently, and by all accounts, we have spoken to some of the players. We haven't spoken to all of them as yet, but we'll speak to them again when we convene. We have identified 3 venues to start with. That is ETW, VOJN, and Cotton Ground. We really want to see something happening even at the Swamp. However, one of the things I have to, on my plan, is to have a discussion with Minister Eric regarding that, because I understand there needs to be some work down there to see if that can also be a venue we can add, maybe this year or later this year, whatever. However, we're going to go about that. But 3 venues have been identified: Cotton Ground, VOJN, and ETW, and we are going to play cricket in those 3 venues.
There's also a possibility, but maybe the ground is too small. Hard times, pitch is being relayed. Clay is going to be put on, new clay, and but maybe the ground is too small. I'm not sure.
Maybe it is, because then it could prove an alternative to Swamp. But I mean, I don't know in terms of the size. I will have to have that discussion with my people and see if that is something. But we want to take the cricket back into the communities. It is desperately something we want to do, Curtis, but we were hampered by the elements that we couldn't control.
Of course, we'll continue that interview tomorrow, by God's grace. That's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.